So I stuffed kitchen knives all around my pockets and started taking them to school. This was before they started putting metal detectors up and shit. And I was ready to just, like, I was just waiting for somebody to push me. It's like I didn't want it to happen, but at the same time I wanted to, because I wanted to snap on these fuckers because I just couldn't take it anymore. Luckily I just never, went through with it, because it something like that. No, I mean, like, it's definitely my first reason is, it's venting. Instead of going to therapy, or, instead of, like, getting in fights, like, there's people, like, daily go to a bar and drink, or they just have to talk, or they beat their wife, or they get in a fight with somebody, or they're all pissy to people that they care about. Instead, I just spent all that in making a movie, The thought of violence, like, scared the shit out of me, because I never would want to hurt anyone, but when you're, like, that isolated, which is what all this shit deals with, isolation, when you're that isolated and you feel like nobody gives a shit, and like nobody understands, and like every single day you're just getting pushed around and pushed around and pushed around. It's like somebody keeps doing this and this and this, and you're like, stop. It's funny, but like that, and when people like do that, that's what I'm talking about. When it's a school shooting, it's like they get pushed and pushed and pushed, and some people don't know how to like push back. You know what I mean? Like, you get on somebody's ass, and somebody should be able to like say, don't fuck with me. Some people don't know how to say that, so when they finally say don't fuck with me, they say it by blowing their fucking head off, So like, almost pretty much, I guess all my stuff deals with an isolated character, and then one character might, turn into like a loving person because of it, which I think is kind of like in the cleansing. Somebody else might die because of it and then go off to a better place, like in isolation, or somebody like a porn star killer might go and become a pedophile, a murder. And I was like, it's funny that all this like, molestation and incest stuff has always like haunted me in this weird way, because it's like always been around me, but in a fictional way, I mean? It's like there's always been all these accusations all over the years, either on me or against my family or somebody, that of shit that never happened. So it's like I felt like I had this connection to like molestation kind of things, like, where I felt like I needed to explore it simply because it kind of like haunted my whole entire childhood. But at the same time, I had no connection to it because it's like it was never there. I mean? It's like, I don't know how to explain it. So then we're picking up my, I was 16 at the time, and me and my best friend, both 16, were picking up his little brother from elementary school. And I was bored because we'd done this like every single day, and we always had to wait for like an hour. So then we're picking him up, and this kid's walking by when school gets out. So I thought it'd be funny to be like, hey little boy, want some candy? And because you're always told like not, when you're younger, you're told like not to like, specifically if somebody says you want some candy, you're told to like run away. So we wanted to see if the kid would run away. And I know it's like fucked up, so I shouldn't be laughing, but the kid ran away, so we thought it was funny. So then my friend said it, and I was like, oh, ha ha, blah blah blah, like that was funny, whatever. And then the next day, like 7 cop cars surround us. There's hundreds of people there. Watch us get handcuffed on the ground, spend the rest of the day in jail, and then next thing I know, I'm getting accused of child molestation. Like, I don't even know how you get accused of child molestation for yelling something at somebody walking down the street. Like, how can you even be charged with that? So I spent 2 years from the time I'm 16 to the time I'm almost 19 fighting that. I had to go to therapy because they thought I was a child molester. Yeah. Well, I felt really isolated in school, I mean, I got picked on all the time, I got beat up, I planned out how I was going to kill people at my school when I was 13, and for some reason I didn't go through with it, probably because I didn't have access to guns. That's what's so confusing about the whole thing, is like, I think violence is horrible, but at the same time, at that point in my life, I was pushed so bad that I just couldn't take it anymore, and I felt like I was in a snap. So I actually started carrying knives to school, like kitchen knives, because that's the only weapons I could find. They're I think all my things, everything I've done is about isolation, but it all leads to like, how isolation can lead you to different spots. Which is what I think, talking about Taxi Driver, him being isolated, like led him to do all kinds of different things. At first it led him to go after that girl, then it led him to try and like kill that presidential candidate or whatever, and then it led him to a hero. You know what I mean? Like him being isolated led him to like all these different areas. Which I drew a picture when I was 5. We got in a really bad car wreck, and my grandma went into the windshield. I didn't even get to that part. My grandma went to the windshield and got her head stuck in the windshield because she wouldn't wear a seatbelt because we'd just been in a bad car wreck, and she broke her ribs. And then my mom, there was no shoulder straps back then. My mom ripped her head open on the seat in front of her, and she had blood. I remember she had red stripes of blood coming out her face. It looked like a red prison cell. I remember that pretty detailed. And my mom's blind, and she was in shock. So she can't see anything, and she's in shock. So I'm sitting there 5 years old trying to explain to her, your grandma's head is stuck in the windshield. Your mom's head is stuck in the windshield, and and you've got blood pouring down your face, you know. Like, I don't remember exactly how I said it to her, but she was like, what's going on? I remember her looking at me with this stripes of blood, and going, what's going on? So that's, we fell into that category of false accusations where based on that picture, they determined that I was being molested and abused because it was a witch putting ice on me, which was really the nurse from the hospital put ice on me, and I just loved witches and ghosts and all that. Anyway, so I got put in immediate foster care with my 1-year-old brother, and then after that I got put in another foster care. By the time I was all over, and after all the court hearings and all that, my parents and the whole family and everybody at their, at their church and friends all got involved in this big huge thing because I drew a fucking picture. By the time I was over, I was 7, my brother was 3. He stayed with the foster family until he was 18, so he basically was in a foster home for like over 17 years of his 18-year-old childhood. And then we moved up here to Lompoc, and what is that noise? And then so this whole thing was created, because of this one fucking picture I drew that somebody totally misinterpreted. So yeah, that's one form of my artwork getting me in trouble. And it's definitely happened up here with my movies, with pissing people off. And I almost got in a fight at a party because, no, $20. Porn star killer, well, I'm not wearing that shirt today. Porn star killer 2, $20. Camera, a girl, sex, violence, there you go. Don't do any blood, you don't have to pay for the gore. I think it's more disturbing if you're like strangling somebody or suffocating them anyways and doing some special effect thing. You know what I mean? Like, we would all be fucking numb if there wasn't art. Art is, like I was saying, it's about entertaining, expressing, showing, venting, telling. If like, that's art. So if there was no art, then everybody would be like fucking numb zombies, right? That's my thing. It can be everything. I mean, it can be, yeah, I think everything that's beautiful is ugly, everything that's ugly is beautiful. That's what I try to do in my films too, is I really love capturing the beauty in rundown places, like the locations. They're all like rundown things pretty much, and what I like to do is I like to find the beauty in things like that, and I like to find the ugliness in things that are supposedly beautiful. That's been my kind of thing. Like, sex should be a beautiful thing. What I like to do is find like the ugly part of sex, like the pedophilia part or incest or whatever, and then things that should be ugly, like a lot of these rundown locations, I see the beauty in them. And, I just think that's interesting to explore. You don't get that shit on the OC or whatever.